So tell me that story about Freddie again, Pastor Dorothy.
We got a call in the ministry for about, it's about not quite a year. And we went down, we had a call that Sharky, who everyone knows Sharky, he's one of the first guys that we ever ministered to, had gotten drunk and lost his shoes. So it was cold. So we were going to the library with shoes and food. And when we got there, Dumpster Derek, asked me, this was way before we even knew Vicky. But Vicky's heard the story so many times that it's really part of her life too. But Dumpster Derek said, if you're really worrying about helping someone, there's a guy dying in the woods, Freddie. He said, you know Freddie. Little Freddie's in the woods, and he had 3 weeks, and he's trying to kill himself on the train track. Well, we stopped and went straight to the woods with our food, didn't give it all to Sharky, and there lay Freddie. And he had his head up on the train track. You know how often they run here. And so Nick didn't even stop to think. He went back to the car and got a beach towel. That's all, and wrapped Freddie up in that beach towel. And I drove, and Nick held that man like a baby in his arms. And we got to Woostroff, and they took us right in. And we prayed. I prayed in the Spirit. Nick prayed with him, but he was just pretty emancipated. And the surgeon come out, and he was just, people were just sitting there trying to get the vitals, and he looked out of that towel up at Nick's face. He said, I want to get saved. And Nick said, well, let's pray. He said, no, not just a prayer. I need to get saved. I'm killing myself. And his family has been in AA for years and years, and his brother still was one of the guys that run, I won't say which one, but one of the guys that run it. So anyway, he prayed the prayer of salvation, and he just like straightened up and got sober enough. And then the doctor asked him the questions, but he never came back to our streets. We had went down to meet him at an AA meeting to take him food until he got established again. But he's never been back on the streets. He'll ride the bike past us, but he stays away from the guys that are using, and that's been 14 and a half years ago. He's
what
still
happened
sober.
to that emergency room doctor? You said that he was
just started
removed
crying
by
because it was this guy was like in a coma almost, and had eaten 3 weeks, or the only thing he was doing was drinking rot gut. Someone had made some what is that stuff? Hooch in the woods with grapefruit juice and pure wood grain alcohol.
Oh my!
And that's all he ate, and he was gone. But the surgeon, the guy, not the surgeon, but the emergency room doctor, that doc sat there and cried when he just come out and said, oh gosh, oh my goodness, Jesus, he really got saved. I haven't seen that on the street so often where someone really, and then you expect, he
was just transformed.
He was transformed. Now he's an influential part of several of the AA groups in the area. And he didn't come back to us because he needed to stay away from the guys.
Yeah.
But that once you see that happen, it's a miracle. And I'll tell you another one was Sharky. One time we were down, we love Sharky. And anyone in this area knows who Sharky is. He wears a straw hat and rides a 3-wheeler bike. Right. And he's a philosopher because he's, he drinks and they like to talk about that. But one time, when Sharky gets drunk, he gets mouthy. And someone beat him so bad, broke both of his legs. And we got a call on a Saturday and said it was a place called Carmalt. In fact, it was a rough place. And they said they won't let him out of there. He said, I'll go get him. And the guy said, no, you can't. Those are mean boys, and they're not letting anyone come in. Well, Nick went down and went through the door and knocked the door down to the apartment and picked Sharky up, and we took him to the hospital. And he went through a detox, and he got clean. And Clayton's hired him for us and put him in a place. He had his own, he loved sports, so he had his own cable TV. He was there 4 years at Clayton. And we went in there and told them, he can't have a sip, a hoot, a snort, a pill, a needle, never, never again. That's what I always say, how I got clean. But anyway, he was there 4 years, and the guys that worked at Clayton were tough old boys. And they started giving him beer. And it was less than 6 months, we were doing a ministry called Rob's Place down at Solid Life in Carnival Mall. And we were coming back there leaving. It was about 10 o'clock, and Nick said, what's that on the middle of the road? It was Sharky riding his bike. He almost got killed that night. Now Sharky's made a decision. He chose death over life, and he's back in the woods now. And some days he's sober, and most days he's not.
Did you ever see the fellow that was on the train track? Did you ever see him again?
Yeah, that's Freddie, and we see him riding a bike from AA to his room. He's alive, and he's been alive for, like I said, 14 and a half years.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, and when he does see us, we saw him in Burger King one day, and he said, you who got, he didn't say God then, though, but he said, you are how I got my salvation. And, he never, I don't think maybe goes to the Catholic Church, but he got off the streets.
That's
if we
awesome.
wouldn't have been there that day,
Yes.
you know.
Who knows?
Oh, I got another